以下為個人意見節目，內容提及嘅所有政綱及言論均以嘉賓原話為準，敬請留意。
市選論英雄 Municipal Election Talks 節目主持 Samuel Chan。
各位好，歡迎今日又嚟到收聽我哋市選論英雄呢一個節目。我係今日嘅主持人，我係 Samuel 鄭和安。咁好歡迎大家收聽呢個節目。咁我哋今日咧係好高興咧，就請到第39區嘅其中一個候選人Mr. Christopher Blueman 嚟到我哋嘅電台裏面接受我哋嘅訪問。咁喺我哋嘅電台錄音室裏面呢，我哋亦都有阿 Sandy 陳玲小姐呢，係佢係阿 Christopher 嘅一個隊，我可以講為一個隊員啦。佢今日呢係可以幫我哋手做翻譯。咁我一陣呢，我就會咧，首先呢就會叫Mr. Blueman 呢介紹下佢自己。咁然後呢，我哋就一路睇下有咩其他嘅問題呢，問下佢有關呢個競選嗰方面嘅嘢嘅。Thank you, Chris, for coming in today for our interview, and I'm sure our listener would be pleased to find out a little bit more about yourself. And of course, Sandy, also welcome to be our translator for the day.
Thank you.
And we want to make sure that our listeners got a precise glimpse and view of exactly who and what you are and what you can do for the resident in Ward 39. Chris, can you introduce yourself to our listeners, who you are, where you're coming from?
Neho, and thank you for having me here. My name is Christopher Blueman. I was born in Toronto, raised in Scarborough. I'm also a former councillor in Ontario. I'm married to a wonderful Chinese woman. We have 2 young multicultural children, a girl and a boy, and our third is our dog. I'm currently running as the most favourable City Council candidate to best serve the residents of Scarborough Agincourt in Ward 39, and all of you as well too, for the best city in the world, Toronto.
你哋好，我嘅名叫做克里斯布魯曼，我喺多倫多出生，同埋喺士嘉堡長大嘅。咁我亦都係前安省嘅議員。我有一個華人嘅太太，同埋我哋有2個小朋友，一個男仔一個女仔。咁第3個呢，就係我哋嘅狗。我而家係39區嘅競選議員。
Okay, Chris, I know that you live in our ward and you're raised in Toronto and of course that's great. Tell me a little bit about your your academic background and what you do for a living now, and so perhaps the resident know a little bit more about perhaps your background other than working in the public sector.
Excellent. Thank you for that. My ambition, enthusiasm, drive, community involvement is quite extensive. I'm a leader and volunteer for various festivities and events. I've even coached a children's soccer team. I'm currently a member of Agincourt Community Services Association and a supporter of the Steeles Lamoureux Strength and Partnership Scholarship Fund. I'm a past contributor to the Ride and Heart of the Heart and Stroke Foundation and sponsor of Tree Canada. I'm very competitive, athletic. I'm an accomplished hockey player. I enjoy swimming, playing tennis, and basketball. However, I have traveled the world. I've been employed in Asia and Scandinavia. I've definitely a lifestyle entrepreneur, someone who's a self-directed investor. I've worked with, inspired, counseled leadership, business, employment skills to inner city youth from Windsor.
剛才呢，我就問Mr. Blueman 呢，我話佢可唔可以再俾多少少有關佢嘅背景啊，佢做啲咩嘢啊？當然啦，佢係住喺我哋第39區嘅。咁我就讓阿陳小姐呢可以提供佢剛才嘅講嘅內容。
咁呢，Mr. Blueman 呢就係好有雄心同埋熱情，同埋好有動力，同埋廣泛參與社區活動嘅。咁呢，作為一個各種節日同埋活動嘅一個領導人同埋 志願人呢，佢亦都係一個兒童足球隊嘅主教練。咁佢而家呢，就係愛正國社區嘅協會成員，同埋一個基金嘅支持者。咁呢，亦都係心臟同中風基金同埋加拿大樹木局嘅贊助商。佢呢就曾經呢，就通過同加拿大人力資源同國際青年成就組織合作，同埋比爾梅林達蓋茨基金合作，就激勵同輔導溫莎市內嘅青年領袖同商業同就業技能。咁佢都曾經多次同世界500強嘅企業高管、中小型企業、非營利組織發表有關於談判技巧嘅演講同埋參與工作坊，並制定有效嘅成人培訓策略嘅。
嗱，我咧就會再問一問咧，因為咧我哋嘅聽眾咧，或者你住喺愛情國區，住喺士嘉堡區，但係你都唔係好清楚咧，你係咪喺第39選區嘅？我一陣咧我就要問一問Mr. Blueman 咧，有關嗰個39區實際上係包括咩地方？咁等佢可以等我哋可以知道，咦，我喺佢個區嘅喎。咁當然啦，我亦都要鼓勵我哋嘅聽眾咧，一如既往咧，就一定要喺10月26號咧，作出你要作出嘅決定，就出去投票，利用你嘅權力同埋你嘅責任去做呢個投票嘅意向嘅。Chris, I just mentioned to our listener that a lot of our listeners live in the Scarborough area, and but many perhaps is not 100% sure about exactly what 39 is, whether you fall into their area or not. And while I was saying that, and I'm asking you to just tell our listener exactly what areas that you be representing, and more so at the same time, I was urging our listener to exercise their right and make sure that they go out on October the 27th to vote, and that's something that I always mention to our listeners. Can you tell us what 39, whereabout is what 39, and north, south, east, and west?
Mm-hmm. No, good question. Definitely, there are no political parties in municipal government, as you're alluding to, and that's why I feel it's my duty to serve everyone just as important as I would serve my friends, my neighbors, and everyone equally. The border of Ward 39 actually starts at Steeles and goes from Kennedy over to Victoria Park and goes south to Finch. There's a little sliver on the Kennedy side that goes actually all the way to Shepherd beside the golf course, Tam O'Shanter Golf Course. And that would be the borders of Ward 39. It's quite a diverse community and exciting community, lots of growth opportunities, and definitely an amazing place to call home. I enjoy walking my dog in Lamoureux Park. It's a fantastic place to be.
39區其實個範圍咧就係由北起Steele 南到Shepherd， 然之後西到 Victoria Park 同埋東到 Kennedy 嘅。
咁呢個區我哋都有相當多嘅華人喺度居住，同埋咧亦都有好多其他嘅族裔嘅人喺度居住嘅。咁咧就我咧亦都要問一問Mr. Blueman 咧，就我知道咧而家我哋嗰區咧係有呢個39區咧係有好多長者嘅。咁我想亦都我知道我哋而家呢個39區呢度咧係嗰個現任嘅市議員咧係Mr. Mike Delgrand。咁我亦都想問一問有關佢 Mike Delgrand， 因為我剛才先知道咧 Mike Delgrand 咧已經係準備退休。咁我亦都想問一問佢佢嘅政綱係點樣嘅？What I was just telling our listener was that for Ward 39, I understand it is a pretty diverse community. Not only just Chinese, I know there are many other races living there as well. Mm-hmm. And I also mentioned that for Ward 39 right now, our councillor is Mr. Mike Delgrand. and I just find out that Mr. Del Gran is not running and he's retiring, I believe, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Chris, can you tell our listener, I know that there are seniors out there and, you know, mixed communities, and it's a very nice community, and tell our listeners what your agendas are, and with Mr. Del Gran coming down and retiring, and tell us your platform. Tell us, you know, so our listeners would know a little bit more and have some better ideas about what you can do for the community.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, very good question. I certainly, I'm interested in democratic leadership. Okay, conflict resolution, cooperation, negotiation skills. These are things we need at City Hall. More efficient Toronto, more affordable Toronto, and protecting local health care and expanding public transit, community development and engagement.
Sandy?
係咁咧，我咧將我嘅民主領導能力咧，解決衝突嘅能力，合作談判技巧咧，就會帶入市政廳，咁啊令到佢更加高效，令到多倫多係一個更加容易負擔嘅城市，同時就保護本地嘅醫療同埋擴展公共交通，社區發展同埋參與活動嘅。
And
you may continue, Chris.
Certainly, thank you. And, you know, we have problems at City Hall, okay? What they're doing can be done better. There's infrastructure gridlock issues. There's decision-making deadlock problems, massive tax increases. There's much wasting of time, bickering, bullying, instead of working together in the best interests of the city. My solution is more transit expansion for not only Scarborough Agincourt, but surrounding areas as well. Fiscally responsible leadership, similar to Mr. Del Gran, keeping taxes lower than inflation and increasing ratepayer value. You know, by delivering my governing experiences that I have, my negotiation skills that I possess, and seeking consensus to best serve you and our community members.
我哋咧就盡量係減少同埋保護物業稅嘅稅率咧係低於通脹嘅，咁咧就冇進一步嘅大規模嘅增加啦。同埋我哋要繼續完善嗰個問責制度同埋嗰個財政透明度，通過堅持節省成本嘅方法咧，就減少意外嘅支出同埋降低物業稅。咁為咗保護我哋嘅稅率咧低於通脹咧，我會尋求即係其他人寶貴意見，要嚟追求更加實惠同埋創新嘅方法嚟更好咁為你做呢個城市服務嘅。
我咧就知道咧就我哋嘅現任市長咧阿福特咧係好多有好多爭議性嘅問題，咁但係咧亦都有好多我哋嘅選民咧係覺得阿福特咧就係幫我哋慳到錢。咁咧亦都有相信咧有幾多人支持佢嘅，咁但係咧我哋就見到咧而家個市裏邊咧好多時咧嗰啲市議員咧同個市長咧有衝突，咁我就會問一問阿 Chris 咧，如果阿福特咧再當選嘅時候，咁佢有咩辦法可以做得好啲咧嚇？I was just telling my listener that right now for the last few years,the current mayor, Mr. Ford, had so many things going on and controversies and of course what from the resident point of view they see Mr. Ford is trying to help save money, but at the same time the resident in general see that there is a lot of conflict in the council in the chamber there. Now if you were elected to be the councillor for Ward 39, and Mr. Ford happened to be elected as well. And how would you approach this?
Very good question, and it's a very honest answer, being that I work with everybody and anybody. Having consensus on council is extremely important. Personal, issues aside, we all have to work together. We all have to work together for the best interest of the city. Certainly, I'm one person who likes to stick to issues. I have an issues page directly on my website at chrisblueman.com/issues. It's very specific. It shows and it tells exactly what I plan to do and how I plan to do it and with whom I plan to work with. And that will be anyone that is elected to City Hall. I'm a very democratic person. I believe in democracy 110%. And I'm willing and able to work with anybody who is our mayor.
以我經驗咧，知道咧，作為一個本地選舉產生嘅政府官員咧，服務人民係先於政治嘅。咁喺市政府咧就係冇政黨嘅，所以我覺得我真正嘅責任係為大家，好似我嘅鄰居一樣咁重要啦。我唔單止有即係不可缺少嘅政治經驗同埋正規嘅教育，而且仲有一套非常獨特嘅技能，更好咁為你服務嘅。咁如果想更多咁了解我同我團隊計劃喺多倫多市議會要完成一啲咩嘢，可以去我網站 chrisblueman.com 嗰度就可以了解多啲。
Okay, that's good. And of course, I want to be sure that our listeners knows exactly who you are. That is Chris, CHRIS. 佢個全名咧，佢第一個名叫 Christopher, CHRISTOPHER。咁咧佢個姓咧係 Blueman， 藍色嘅藍 BLUEMAN。咁所以咧你哋亦都可以去佢個網站咧，就係3個 W， Chris Blueman 一個字.com。What I want to make sure is that when our voters go out there, they know who you are, and for more information, they can certainly go out there and check out your website. I know the area Ward 39 pretty good, and I recently I also received a note from Del Grand. I believe it's from Del Grand, and saying that there are some theft going on around that area. There were 3 or 4 people knocking on doors and trying to find out whether there are people in there. And community safety, to me, it's very important. Is there something that you think you can do to improve the safety of the community at large?
Definitely. It's unfortunate that these things happen, but they do happen living in a big city, and community safety is extremely important. To make sure that people are aware of, different type of attempts of fraud that can happen, people knocking on your door, what they may be looking into. I would, as a counselor, have a regular newsletter informing people of different types of door-to-door fraud. We do, I am interested in securing additional newcomer settlement and senior assistance services to manage expanding needs in the area, and this would be one of the issues I would tackle, is to make sure that people feel safe, our neighborhoods remain safe, and to educate people with different types of modern types of fraud that occurs, and to tackle that head on and make sure that we remain a safe and viable community.
OK， 嗱，我剛才咧就問下 Mr. Blueman 咧，我就話咧，我對愛情角薛家堡嘅社區咧，我都相當熟悉嘅。咁最近咧，我亦都知道咧，有個市議員咧就或者提醒咧，即係有啲居民咧喺嗰度附近嘅咧，就要留意咧，有啲生保人咧係一男兩女啊，定兩男一女咁咧，就周圍去拍門，咁咧就睇下有冇人喺度啊，或者借故話借電話啊。或者要做啲非法嘅嘢或者呃騙嘅嘢嘅，咁我就問佢，我話你作為一個市議員嘅時候，你喺呢方面喺對社區嘅安全嗰方面，你係可以做到啲咩嘢咧？咁我就讓阿陳小姐幫我哋做一個回覆。
咁咧，我哋咧就會提供一啲即係更多嘅長者援助服務啦，同埋保持我哋社區咧作為一個安全居住同埋適宜養育小朋友嘅地方。
咁我即係知道咧，就阿 Chris 咧亦都有提過啦，佢亦都好似其他或者市議員一樣咧，就會有一個 時常發出嘅通訊。咁啊，如果有啲咩事啊，喺嗰個社區嗰方面咧，佢亦都會盡量咧盡早咧提醒俾我哋啲社區嘅居民知道嘅。咁當然咧，就如果你係有電郵嘅，咁啊容易好多。如果係冇電郵嘅話咧，有可能咧就係麻煩啲啦。咁我會問一問佢，如果係冇電郵咁點搞咧咁？Now, Chris, I understand that the newsletter is something very interesting and very important, informative for the residents. And I myself receive newsletter. I do read it and I do pay attention to it. Now, having said that, some of our listeners, some of our seniors in the community, they may not have an email address. And how do they find out, informations? Is there a way, a channel that seniors and maybe people who don't have an email address or who don't have all the gadget, for example, to be able to find out informations, more quickly?
Definitely. Good. That's a very good point you make, Samuel, and that's exactly something that I would implement is a newsletter in the mail, just as it is now, but condense it so we can, provide more newsletters, but in a more, eco-friendly manner in larger print and at the same time different languages, but just as informative, but maybe condensed. And this would be something that our residents would receive monthly, and I would make sure that it's important to also let them know that they can sign up for the version, which is via email. But if they don't have an email, as I just mentioned, certainly they would have it in their post box every morning, monthly.
咁我哋每個月咧都有一啲郵件會或者單張咧會派落俾去派俾郵箱嘅，咁佢都可以收到我哋呢啲消息。
嗱，咁啊時間咧就過得好快。我咧亦都想趁機會咧喺呢度話俾我哋啲聽眾聽咧。阿 Chris 咧係俾我嘅印象係年輕有幹勁。咁咧就我諗咧一般嚟講咧，我哋係需要咧有年輕有幹勁嘅同埋有經驗嘅人咧出嚟個社區處工作。咁我咧最後咧我就會問佢咧，叫佢講俾我哋聽點解我哋如果喺嗰個選區嗰度點解要出嚟咧喺10月27號嗰日咧係投佢一票咧咁。Now, what I was just telling our listeners is that I have the opportunity to seeing you face to face. And I told our listeners that you appear to me at least young and energetic, and you certainly have a lot of experience. Now, time is going by very quickly, and you got about 3 minutes. Mm-hmm. What I'd like to ask you towards the end is, Chris, can you tell our listeners why they should, on October the 27th, go out there and put a cross against your name and vote for you?
Thank you, sir. This is not about winning another election. This is instead about serving and leading our next generation. I'm an experienced former councillor in Ontario, always serving everyone. I'm a small businessman who values small business. I will strive and protect your hard-earned tax dollars. I will ensure protection of local healthcare and services. I currently volunteer in the community. I'm very respectful, I'm innovative, and extremely energetic. Thank you for that. A very fiscally responsible representative who spends money wisely. I'm a community-minded leader, a builder, a listener. I have an impeccable council attendance record in public service, and I show up to work hard. I will continue to utilize my professional negotiation techniques to win without bullying, and I will deliver much-needed transit expansion and create jobs for Scarborough, Agincourt, and the surrounding area of Toronto and their residents. By bringing these governing experiences, my negotiation skills, my seeking of consensus, we should be able to serve you the best in Toronto within our community of Scarborough Agincourt. I firmly believe in action versus distraction. Leadership is about listening, it's learning. I like to build mutually beneficial friendships and partnerships. I'm truly committed to staying connected to the community, the voters, welcoming newcomers. And to me, really, serving people is simply about improving a diverse community, answering to friends, neighbors, and local constituents of all political spectrums all the time. I'm open to new ideas, perspectives. I make myself approachable, and I strive to earn loyalty, trust, instill leadership with integrity in everything that I do. I'm very honored to have the opportunity on October 27th, voting day, to be serving you. Thank you.
OK， 咁呢一次呢，就唔係一次選舉，而係服務同埋領導我哋嘅下一代嘅。咁呢，我呢就堅信呢係在於行動。咁領導力呢係建立喺互惠互利嘅友誼同埋伙伴關係嘅時候，善於傾聽啦、學習啦。咁我係真正致力於社區同埋選民，同佢哋保持聯繫。咁我呢係一個好有經驗嘅前安省議員。我自己本身係一個小商人，重視小企業。我盡力保護納稅人辛苦賺嘅錢。我確保護本地醫療服務。我而家呢就住喺社區度，同埋係社區嘅義工。我懂得尊重、創新同埋充滿活力。我係一個好負責任嘅財政代表。識得好明智咁花錢，同埋我係一個有社區意識嘅領導人同埋傾聽者。咁我工作好努力，喺公共服務有無可挑剔嘅考勤記錄。咁我將會繼續以我嘅專業嘅談判技術去取勝而無欺騙。我將會創造士嘉堡同埋愛靜國居民更多嘅就業機會。同時以我嘅執政經驗、談判技巧，尋求共識，更好咁服務我哋嘅社區。
OK， 咁我哋咧就今日咧好多謝Christopher Blueman 同埋陳玲小姐上嚟咧，我哋個電台。咁咧就我哋希望我哋喺39選區咧能夠選到一位適合領導為我哋大眾做嘢嘅人。咁咧我就會再次多謝佢哋。咁多謝大家收聽。Chris, I want to thank you, and Sandy, thank you for coming in for this interview, and I wish you luck in the coming elections. And again, I urge our listeners to go out there and vote on October the 27th. And I look forward to some good leaders leading our community and providing good services.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for coming.
多謝。
以上內容純屬個人言論，所提及嘅政綱均以嘉賓原話為準，並不代表本台立場，敬請留意。本台立場，敬請留意。本台立場，敬請留意。本台立場。